Welcome to Ruffing the Passer, the show where I talk football, miscellaneous stuff, and mostly football. I'm your host, Sam Ruffing, and I stand with Canadian truckers. What Canada's doing is illegal and wrong. Back onto the football. As you saw on Sunday, some big game happened. I'm not sure what it was called. The Cereal Bowl, Super Colossal Cereal happened between the Bengals and the Rams. And I just want to share my thoughts and opinions on the game and my takeaways from it. Takeaway number one is the Rams had too many didn't have any takeaways. Despite their fourth down stop of the Bengals early in the game, that does not count as a takeaway. They did get taken away from early in the game early in the second quarter with a Matthew Stafford interception from, I can't remember who, but it was not the greatest throw to Van Jefferson in the back of the end zone, and that cost the Rams points. Also, early in the third quarter, Matthew Stafford threw a interception, which wasn't entirely his fault. The receiver dropped it. I mean, it was thrown in a little hard, and it was a little outside, but the receivers are paid to make that catch. Takeaway number two, that was a good game. Wasn't flashy, wasn't brilliant, nothing spectacular, but it was good. It was solid football between two teams who have no affiliation with me apart from Von Miller, but that's about it. They played well. The defenses stepped up in the game. It was a nice score. It wasn't Nick Foles, Tom Brady, 41 to 34, which was a fantastic Super Bowl, mind you. But it came down to the wire. It was exactly what you asked for from a Super Bowl. And yeah, I kind of liked it. It was a fun game. Takeaway number three. The Bengals O-line is absolutely terrible. You let Joe Burrow get sacked 7 times, I think. It was way too many. All of them seemed to happen within the third quarter, it felt like. Whenever the Bengals could have taken over the game, the O-line just let up a sack to Aaron Donald or Von Miller or whoever else on the Rams wanted to sack that day. And, it was bad. I'm really beginning to think the Bengals maybe should have drafted Penei Sewell. I'm just saying, could you imagine Penei Sewell on that team? That left tackle from Oregon. I mean, if you had him on that team, who knows where the Bengals would be. I mean, Jamar Chase didn't have a touchdown. He had a drop early in that game. I'm just saying. Takeaway number 4. The Von Miller absolutely and Aaron Donald absolutely dominated, man. It was insane. Von Miller had 2 sacks in that game. One of them, he run around the tackle, sacked Joe Burrow for a big loss on second down. And then he had a sack with Justin Hollins, which counts as a full sack for Miller. It was unbelievable. Not quite as dominant as his 2.5 sack performance in Super Bowl 50, but still pretty good, and Aaron Donald should have been named Super Bowl MVP. Let's be real. The man wanted it. I mean, his first sack of the game when he bull rushed that guard, just knocked him off his spot and got to Joe Burrow just in an instant was insane. He chased down after that fight on the sidelines. And, he got the Rams back into that game. And, man, he should have been named Super Bowl MVP. He was phenomenal. And he got the crucial incomplete pass late in the game from Joe Burrow on fourth down, which sealed it. He should have been named Super Bowl MVP. Takeaway number 5. The reffing was not good. Let's be real. The reffing, I did like the fact that they let the players play this game for most of it. Because you know what? I'm glad they didn't throw a flag in that fight in the sidelines. It's like it's a Super Bowl. It should not come down to a fight. You should not give a penalty to a team because the emotions are running high. It's the biggest game of the year. This is what their careers are based on and all that. They may never get back there again. However, there's a difference between letting players play and just screwing up entirely when there's a blatant call. I mean, T. Higgins on his touchdown from Joe Burrow blatantly grabbed the face mask of Jalen Ramsey, which I don't care if it affected it or not, or if it was hand fighting, whatever. It should still be called. That should be a penalty just because you're letting them play. Does not mean you should throw blatant flags. And also, what was that holding call against the Bengals late in the game? What was that? That was terrible. I mean, it was the greatest, some really great defense played by Logan Wilson, and they throw a flag for that. Why, refs? Why you gotta ruin the game like that? Now no one's talking about the fact that LA won. They're talking about the fact that you blew the game. Granted, they didn't really, but Cincinnati had plenty of chances. Number 6, Matt Stafford has been wasting his career in Detroit. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He went to the Rams in his first year. He won a division title for the first time ever. He won a playoff game for the first time ever. Then 4 playoff games and a Super Bowl. He threw 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, had a crazy stat line, and overall dominated in LA. What the heck were the Lions doing? They gave him Calvin Johnson, then he retires, and they don't pay him. Pay Calvin Johnson. Number 7, Cincinnati, you blew it. I mean, I'll get on to this, why you lost, and why you may never get back again in another video. But my goodness, why on earth did you go for it on 4th down early in the game at your own 50-yard line? It's early in the game in a Super Bowl. If you punt there, your defense has been playing well enough to stop them. I mean, we found out later in the rest of the game. And you could have stopped Matthew Stafford at that time and won the Super Bowl probably because you lost by 3. I mean, you allowed them to score a touchdown because they got all the momentum on that 4th down stop. And say you punt it, you get a stop, that's no touchdown. If you convert it, fine, that's brilliant, but you didn't. You've been listening to my advice all this time, Zach Taylor, of kicking field goals with Evan McPherson. But yet now you go for it on 4th down? Now you ruin it? Ruin your chances at, winning a Super Bowl? What were you thinking, man? Oy. Takeaway number 8. Sean McVay nearly blew it. Let's be real. Sean McVay is a brilliant young coach who's only 35 and he's already won a Super Bowl. But my goodness, in that game, he was not calling good plays for most of the time. I mean, the fact that Cooper Kupp had 4 targets entering the 4th quarter is a little, sketchy. Granted, one of them was a touchdown, but still. The offense finally got going when they handed the ball to Cooper Kupp on 4th down, and he gained some yards, and they throw it to Cooper Kupp, and he gains more yards, and he eventually scores the game-winning touchdown. Cooper Kupp is your best player on offense, and you haven't been using him the entire game. I didn't get it. He nearly overthought it like he did against New England. Thankfully, to save his career in the coaching and Super Bowl, he fixed that up. So congrats, Sean McVay. Number 9, Joe Burrow may be the next John Elway. Or Dan Marino. Joe Burrow played his heart out in that game. He wasn't great, but wasn't awful. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. The only one came from Joe Mixon on the Bengals side, and that was pretty funny. I will say that the way he's played this playoffs have been phenomenal, carrying his team. The team that was rebuilding probably to a Super Bowl and just losing because his O-line was giving up everything to the most dominant defensive player in the NFL, a la John Elway, a la Lawrence Taylor, in Super Bowl 21. And, man, he tried to lead that team, but the O-line, the defense played well. The O-line was just so bad. Imagine Penei Sewell in that O-line, let me tell you. His receivers weren't helping him, aside from the T. Higgins. No, he did throw that T. Higgins touchdown. My bad. I kind of forgot about that. But T. Higgins had a few drops. Uzomah was playing. Uzomah was injured. Mixon was still good. The run game was decent, but Jamar Chase had a drop and didn't do much apart from that big play early in the game, and man, they just kind of let Joe Burrow down in that one. I'm not going to lie. Also, Zach Taylor, why didn't you run the ball on 3rd and 1 and late in the game? You could all you needed was a field goal. Goodness, man. Takeaway number 10, the halftime show was surprisingly good. I'm not a huge fan of rap. I'm not going to lie, I don't listen to rap much, but Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, I forgot the woman's name, 50 Cent, they were pretty good. They were all right. I thought it was good. I liked watching Snoop Dogg vibe up there. Lose Yourself was done well. I mean, I had no clue what 50 Cent song was, or Snoop Dogg, or Dr. Dre's, or I wasn't a big fan of Kendrick Lamar's because I could not understand a word he said. But hey, I thought it was pretty good, and it surprised me. And number 11, Evan McPherson rocking out to that halftime show. That was cool. The kicker, whose one job is to kick field goals, why not just sit on the sidelines and watch the entire time and chill out? I mean, for Pete's sake, that man has a swagger unlike any other. There's a reason he is perfect in the playoffs for field goals. And good for him. Takeaway number 11. Punters, I'm beginning to question their necessity on the NFL field. Johnny Hekker, holder and punter for the Los Angeles Rams, dropped a extra point early in the game, which would have made it 14-3, which is what I predicted the score would be going into halftime, and he screwed it up. Anyways, he dropped the punt, dropped it, threw an interception on that play, and man, this is a little worrying for people like Pat McAfee who say punters are people too. Because, let's be real, Johnny Hekker's a great punter, but in the 49ers-Rams game at the end of the year, the 49ers punter went out with a concussion, and Robbie Gould had to come in for him to kick punts, to punt the ball, and he was honestly better. Kyle Juszczyk had to hold the ball, and he was pretty good. I'm beginning to question how good punters are, or how necessary they are. If you can have a guy on the roster who holds the ball for you, and another guy who just... And if the kicker can do both, why not? Now, granted, the kicker... I understand that, kickers and punters you should probably have them do their specific job so that there's less pressure on them. They can spend more time practicing and all that, so fair enough. Takeaway number 12, Von Miller got his 2nd ring, baby. Von, you left the Broncos this year because you were traded for a 2nd and a 3rd. You went to a new team because you weren't going anywhere in Denver, and you won a Super Bowl. Congratulations, man. You did it for DT. I love that. Now that you're a free agent, please come back to Denver, especially if we get Aaron Rodgers, and we'll go win there. Or the Broncos will. I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching. This has been Roughing the Passer. Wait, no, I got to take away number 13. People don't give enough credit for Baker getting better without Odell Beckham Jr. Everyone's making fun of Baker Mayfield because he got worse, because the Rams took OBJ from him, who they weren't doing well with, and they made him a stud in LA who scored a touchdown and all that. And while he was playing like crap in Cleveland, and it called out Baker, and everyone's like, haha, Baker played bad. But hey, when Baker went down, the Rams offense did not look the same. And the Rams got worse without OBJ. Baker, when OBJ went down against the Bengals, he got better. His touchdowns went up, and let's give Baker some slack here. This has been Roughing the Passer. I hope you've enjoyed this video. That was a fun Super Bowl. I'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell to stay notified.